Okay, yeah, we can continue. So the first question we have is there any advice you can give to people who would like to pursue STEM careers in the future?
Yes, absolutely. Is it possible that I can quickly introduce myself, provide you some
Yeah,
context?
for sure. Yes.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take control of the screen sharing and I'll just quickly run through. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, these are some animations. I love the animation that that Elora created. That was very, very creative. And we try to do animation as well. We try to keep up with all of you. And, a picture in 1,000 words, right? The one on the right corner is very popular. It's like we shirk the dark tainted money. And, one of our interns created that. We love it. And the bottom right, we came up with a transportation vision, and which includes connecting 21 counties with high-speed transportation. There's a huge housing challenge. And we talk about connecting far-flung cities with Silicon Valley, where the jobs are. But the commute time from Stockton to San Jose would be down to like 15 or 20 minutes. And it doesn't mean it's just a Hyperloop. We could have a tunnel-based system and lots of other options. And IoT devices communicating, keeping the tunnel safe. And we come up with a vision statement to fix the housing, traffic, homelessness challenge, but also sparking the innovation economy. If you connect Stockton to San Jose, then you could buy a really nice home for $300,000. And you could really buy a very nice home in Silicon Valley for $3 million. So there's a big disparity between Stockton and San Jose. And but if you connect them, then we have created affordable housing in Stockton. And then when a young engineer family wants to do a startup, they have a baby to take care of, they don't want to commute long distances, they would probably do a startup right there in Stockton. Now you have created a bigger, larger, better economy in Stockton. And if you connected Stockton to San Jose with a commute time of like 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you will elevate the quality of life. On the left corner, we say, this is our campaign tagline. We are there for your interest, which is the people interest, not the special interest. The biggest challenge with America is the sellout, which is happening. American politicians sold out and not really addressing the needs of the people. And then we are people powered. We reject the PAC money, the tainted pharma money. We only take the people money. So, okay, let's get going. So this is who we are. We garnered 127,000 votes in November 2020. Better than any challenger in the last 30 years. We ran a very great campaign. We had over 1,000 interns that came from 29 states, and we were changing the world together. And many of them are still with us in that third year. And we are just starting the fourth year of our internship program. Many of them are stayed with us. And I work in the Silicon Valley tech, and let's see, stint in, I'm an activist. That's how I got started in politics. I never flinch. I never fear anything that gets thrown at us, because it's about addressing the needs of the people. If your conscience is clear, if you're doing the right things, then you can't go wrong with that. And that's the fearless nature that we seek to bring in politics. People-centric behavior and doing the right. They call me the tank man of Saratoga for taking on some big challenges and sometimes being the lone voice, standing in the corner, rest of my city council not supporting me. But the outcome is we always win. We always win because we are on the right side of issues. We are always with the people. And that's what I do. But also the reason why we succeed is because we are applying the tech framework. I work in the artificial intelligence, machine learning. What we do is we apply the tech framework of getting things done. For example, when we challenge a very powerful utility, water utility, we rolled out a mobile app to make the protest a lot easier. Mobile app on the App Store. And who did that? Not me. I'm not that smart. Well, I could if I started coding again. But this was one of our interns who did that. And kudos to the intern, because the app is phenomenally successful, downloaded by thousands. And we have rejected 9 water rates thanks to that app. success as a city council member, doing the right things, pushing back against high density development on a hillside fire risk zone that would disrupt wildlife vegetation, not the environmental thing to do. And we have always stepped up to do the right thing. And this is, again, a summary of a track record. And Silicon Valley has never had a tech savvy leader ever. And can we spark the innovation economy? Can we help our economy succeed and address the challenges which is leading to the exodus today? Housing, traffic, homelessness. People are leaving the state. Billionaires are leaving. Companies are leaving. They're going to Austin, Texas. They are going to Miami. The venture capital investors are leaving to Miami. And there are people who have bought homes in Texas. They are still trying it out. They are holding on to their homes in Saratoga, Silicon Valley. But the plan is they want to exit this place because they are not very happy. And all through these years, over 10 years, I would say 12 years in public service, we have been empowering the youth. We run the Lego Robotics Boot Camp every summer. We run the coding programs. If any one of you would like to offer a coding workshop, send me an email at rishi@rishikumar.com, rishi@rishikumar.com. And this summer, we'll be teaching AI ML, we'll be teaching Python, we'll be teaching JavaScript. And also we are running the Lego Robotics Boot Camp. And we help teams get formed on a team formation day. And then we train them to get these new families, new students get started with the Lego Robotics program and what it takes to win. It's all about participating in that competition. I'm pretty sure many of you have done that. So, and the internship program, take a look at that. Feel free to take a screenshot of this with your phone. This is the 4th year of an internship program. I have a flair for writing really good recommendation letters and, volunteer hours, you get all that. And we have volunteers from East Bay, from San Ramon, Pleasanton, also from Fremont, from San Jose, from San Mateo. They come from all over. And there's one thing that they don't do. Which is sit idle. We get them busy. I'm learning something from them. They are learning something from us. We have a 21-point training program. And it's very, very effective. In fact, today at 9 p.m., we have a training program. We have a director of training who manages this and is working with the students to make sure that we are training them on the internship. It's an unpaid internship program. Many of our interns are actually building applications. They are coding. And we are looking at ingesting the social media data and mapping it to the voter database and finding some very interesting insights that will help us manage the strategy for a campaign. So we are constantly applying STEM into how we manage and run the campaign. So that was a quick introduction. I really appreciate all of you listening. And so let's see if I can, you were able to see my slide deck, right?
Yeah, we are. But yeah, thank you for that great introduction. You presented a lot of great opportunities. And also, it was really nice to hear about your campaign and the opportunities that you offer. So thank you so much. Vani, could you present your screen again, and then we can start asking questions. So the rest of you guys can drop whatever questions you have in the chat. All right, so the first question that I have is there any advice you can give to people who would like to get into STEM careers in the future?
Yes. So, I think it comes with education and training, and sometimes the schools don't provide that. One of my slides where we were talking about the internship, I was talking about, I had a line in there. I've been very fortunate to be part of the California Department of Education and the computer science implementation panel. So starting fall of 2022, this year. So we spent quite a few months back in 2019 in coming up with a curriculum for computer science. Starting the fall of 2022, every child in California will learn the elements of computer science, coding, and everything else around that. So this is very important to me as a tech executive to make sure that our kids are learning, the youth are learning, and they will find a career path through STEM. It's very, very important to me. And for you to get started, The best way to do this is to enhance your skills, because today the school curriculum doesn't offer that. And my suggestion is to join some training classes. We run a boot camp every summer. And when we were running it in the pandemic, we called it shelter in place coding. We had about 500 students who signed up for that, and it was run by youth like you. So start with some training, build some fundamentals, and then start doing creative projects. And participate in hackathons. Those types of exposure will train you, and try to develop something which will build a profile for you. And here is the thing that really you're working towards. Try to find an internship where you can showcase your talent and skills. It's not very easy for high school students to get into these types of things. So it means that you have to really prove yourself. I've seen high school students, by the time they have finished their sophomore year, they have found their very first paid internship, and a coding internship, because they can clearly, when they invite you for a job interview, it's not about, about tell me who you are. No, it's not. It doesn't typically work like that. They will ask you, can you sit down and code this for me, right? So this is for any programming job, for example, this is what they tell you to do. So get your skills up. Now, it doesn't mean that STEM is coding. It doesn't mean that. There are lots of other areas of opportunity. So here is another path for you. If maybe you don't like coding, but what you could do is you could come up with an innovative idea and start building a project plan for that. And this is what we do with the art of startup. The training we do, coding is optional, but we allow our students to take a crazy idea and turn that into a business plan, put the website, figure out how to market it. This is all lining up with STEM, because you are actually building something. You are building a product, you're marketing a product, and you're trying to figure out the elements of what it would take to succeed. And you could be part of the STEM economy. It doesn't mean that it's just coding. Hopefully I answered your question. I love this question. Elora?
Yeah, thank you for that answer. Do you want to move on to the next question? Does anyone have any other questions about what he said? Wait, sorry, is there an echo?
There is, somebody's not muted. So what I can do is I can, okay, now everybody's muted. Good, yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, does anyone have any other questions about this? All right, so that's some great advice. Thank you for that response. Ronnie, you can move on to the next question. All right, so my next question is, has being in the tech field benefited you even outside that particular industry? So this just goes for any other, I know obviously in the politics industry, but just any other industry that you've been in, has like any prior experience that you've had in the tech field, has it like benefited you in your career today?
Yep, excellent question. Actually, the skills that you have in tech is the reason why we did well as in the world of politics or as an activist. And my story is education is extremely important to me, and that's the reason why somebody like me, a graduate student of mechanical engineering who came into this country to study, get a master's degree in mechanical engineering, it was through education. And I grew up in absolute poverty back in India and Bombay. And I arrived into this country with 2 suitcases, with a love for American rock and roll and cars. And here I am running for Congress. The only reason I ended up here in America is because of education. So it's very, very important to me. And for each of you, you will find that education is a foundation for success. And working for IBM in the software space, working for Cisco, I realized that you start thinking differently. You have a slightly different approach, like my approach on the city council, for example, in the Saratoga City Council. Now, you are all from Washington High School. Where exactly is it located?
We're in Fremont, California.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought. It must be in Fremont, but it could be from Seattle as well or anywhere else. So I just want to confirm that. Okay, excellent. So, what I've done as a council member of Saratoga is to apply the tech framework to find solutions. Just like, it's not activity for the sake of activity. And I probably have said it a million times in my city council meeting that, I really don't want to spin cycles. Let's move forward. Let's see how we can address the needs of our people, right? That's the motivation. And that comes from where? It comes from my I would call it like my stint in the world of tech, where, if you don't perform, if you don't do well, you're spinning cycles, you will likely be purged from there. So I try to be very efficient with my time and try to get things done. So there are a huge amount of benefits that happen in life. For example, as an activist, we talk about education. Our school district was cutting down the tuition time. And we had just passed a bond measure to fund the schools because they were running out of money. And the promise made was that they will not cut tuition time. And as an activist, I jumped in and I said, look, this is not right. Our students go to school to study. So we should keep the tuition time as a constant, not reduce it. And, what I ended up doing was engaging the people, bringing them together in the same room, the messaging, what do you need to say, define the problem statement. All these are learnings that you will have in tech. And we would fill the school board room with like 300 families, 300 parents who would show up, students, including students, and they would take the turn to speak. And it comes from a deep understanding of how to define a process and how to make it work to address the challenge on hand. And this is what we learn, very process driven as a mechanical engineer, but also the communications, running business units in the world of tech. You are running the marketing, you understand how to communicate, you understand how to make it compelling for the people to act upon. So I love this question. This is what will define your success. A STEM career will provide you a bounty that has incredible returns. It is phenomenal. It's a game changer.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is very valuable advice, and it's glad to know that tech has benefited you so much. So yeah, this just shows to prove that STEM is very valuable, and it can, provide you with a variety of assets that can benefit you in several fields. So that is definitely true. So yeah, any questions? Okay, Vani, you can move on. All right, so this is only one question, but what advice do you have for high schoolers who are interested in pursuing tech? So this is, unlike the prior question, I know this is more geared towards high schoolers in particular. So yeah. You're muted.
Thank you so much. I have to do that every Zoom session. I have to do that. Otherwise, it's not a normal session. So I touched upon this one in my previous response, that get some education, training. If you haven't done coding, I suggest you give it a try. Join these. There are many boot camps that are running. We run these pretty much every semester, and these are all free. Join in. You get a project. You work on the project. Sometimes you create a team and you work on the project together, and then try to build those skills. This is how you can get started. And I'll keep repeating it because I think in Silicon Valley, we don't do enough. We do not do enough to help our youth look at a STEM option. We can do a lot more because this is the innovation economy of the world. And why aren't we teaching our youth, our high school and middle school students, the art of entrepreneurship? So my plan as the next congressman of Silicon Valley is to have innovation academy centers where youth like you will get to work with the CTOs of the Valley, the people who are creating the innovation economy, who have the brain power, who are coming up with new ideas. We'll provide you the framework to get the mentoring from these technologists of the Valley, also professors from the local area, and also investors. So if they like your idea, they might invest in your plan. This is something that we plan to launch next year, soon as we win. It's very, very important that we continue to reap rewards with our innovation economy and ensure that the next generation is fired up and part of the system, part of the ecosystem. Good. Let's keep going.
Yeah, thank you. So since everyone on this call, of course, is a high schooler themselves, so definitely take that advice. It's very valuable. Next question, Ronnie. Yeah. Yeah. So the next question that I have is, what are the differences in your career now and the day now versus when you previously did it, or well, your prior experience?
Yeah. Okay, so two good questions there. So, essentially, my education was a mechanical engineering, and I applied it only for a couple of years. I went to University of Connecticut. I don't know if any one of you follow the basketball March Madness, which is happening. And our women's team is still rocking. Our men's team did not fare as well, but I really enjoyed that program. But I was in the midst of my PhD when I dropped out to find a job. And I ended up at Ford Motor Company in Detroit, where we were actually reducing the design cycle time of cars. And one of my projects, the catalytic converter design process, ended up getting the Ford President's Award in my very first year out of college. And I never expected that. That was actually a very, very big moment for me to win that award. And we reduced the design of the catalytic converter by 95% by automating the elements of design and analysis. And I won't get into the details, but so you can see I was doing some hardcore mechanical engineering stuff at Ford Motor Company. But as part of that, I was actually building software applications, writing code, building front ends to automate that whole process. And that's how that was my foray into software. Ended up at IBM and all that. So you never know what life offers to you. So you might start somewhere, but have an open mind. Like right now, for example, if there's something I will tell you to do is look at the blockchain world, study it very hard, do a Google alert, create a Google alert, and anything blockchain that is published, it'll be fed into your inbox, into your email, and start reading that on a daily basis. And start looking at the technology that it's in the very early stages. It's in the very early stages. And people from Facebook and Google and LinkedIn, they're all jumping out to be in the space of blockchain because it's very early. There's a tremendous amount of innovation happening, and there's boatloads of money. Like there are 25-year-olds who are already worth like $20 million. Can you believe that? $20 million. They are just barely 25 years old. And I'm not talking about crypto investment. Yes, you could make money there as well. I'm talking about the technology. So I have an interesting story to tell you. During the gold rush, people from all over the world came to California. That's why we are called the Golden State. Apparently, we had lots of gold. And they came over and they found gold. Many of them found gold. But I'm going to quiz you now because I feel that perhaps somebody might be falling asleep. So I'm going to quiz you. My question is, who made the most money in the gold rush? Anybody wants to go?
Does anyone have any ideas?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So you would think that somebody who found gold would be super rich, right? You would think that. But you know who got rich? It's the ones who are providing the tools for all these people who came to California in search of gold. They were providing the spades, they were providing the sieves, they were providing the tools. And they made the most money because you know what happened? The ones who found the gold, they found some, but it didn't, in the long run, it didn't work out very well. But if you invested in the tools. So similarly, when you look at blockchain, if you're going to invest in the tool building, that's where the money is, because like one of these companies, they're allowing other companies to build applications on top of the Ethereum platform, and they're doing the high availability load balancing and the node support and all that kind of stuff, which is exactly what my product in IBM did, the WebSphere application server. So I find it very interesting that what I did in IBM, it's the same exact concept, but in the blockchain world. So if you start looking at that, in fact, forget everything else I told you today, okay? Here is the thing, forget everything I told you. Remember one thing you need to remember. If you are interested in a STEM career, look at blockchain, because that's the future. That's the future. You know, back in India, there are things that happen that should not happen. For example, I own a piece of property. Let's say I own a piece of property back in Bombay, where I'm from, okay? And somebody does some fraud, and they'll go to the office, they'll pull that document, they'll put their name in there, and then they'll take over the property, right? Property rights are gone. So these types of funky things can happen anywhere. But if you take that certificate of ownership and you put it on the blockchain, you have essentially dispersed this certificate into, let's say, 25 pieces, and there is a key that is needed to open up those pieces and bring them together. So now nobody can hack that certificate. You own that certificate. So that these types of fraud will not happen because of that, right? So anyway, I'm spending too much time talking about blockchain. It's still very exciting for me. And I would like each of you to explore that. The second area of exploration that I would like to offer you is with the AI ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So if you go to, like, within 6 months, when you go to Jamba Juice or let's say your favorite boba tea shop, or you go to Starbucks, you will find a robot there. And the robot, you might have seen it at San Francisco airport. You punch in your order, and this a set of arms of the robot start moving. They pull out fresh ingredients. They make it right in front of you, and the cup pops out for you, right? So you'll have something very similar happening there. It's called the automation, the AI ML automation of the food industry. It's going to happen everywhere. Explore the AI ML coding, because that's the fundamental of everything, including autonomous cars, including food robotics and everything else. The automation economy is coming, and you have to be ready. I'm ready for it, because we have never had a tech savvy leader ever in a million years of Silicon Valley. And with the automation, I believe someone like me can create the next generation of workers, because I understand this economy very well. But for you, do two things. Look at blockchain, look at artificial intelligence, machine learning, coding options, if you enjoy coding, and figure out how you can get your skills up, because you will have a career for 30, 40 years without any issues, and you will do extremely well. And if things work out well, by 25, your net worth would be $20 million. Tell your parents today, I heard this exciting thing, and I was told about a plan, how I could have my net worth be $20 million when I'm 25. And I'm looking at that option. Talk to them and see what they tell you, okay? Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh, I'll touch upon very quickly on the mechanical engineering. Career options, you could be part of Tesla, you could be part of Ford Motor Company, you could be part of even the automation in the food industry, because they need mechanical engineering design. They have to design a robotic system that includes mechanical engineering principles. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, so thank you. Okay. Yeah, so that's all the questions that we have. Did you get a chance to answer the other question? I know you briefly touched up just now on mechanical engineering, but wait, Vonnie, can you go back to the other question? Oh yeah, so yeah, you just answered that. So yeah, thank you for all the responses. So now we're just gonna have an open Q&A. So whoever has any questions, you guys can just drop it in the chat or just unmute yourself.
It was a really, really good questions. I truly appreciated that. And hopefully they were insightful for each of you. And, love to see if there are any pending questions in your head. We can make it as interactive as we would like. Okay, sounds like we don't have any questions.
Okay. Yeah, so, there's a question in the chat right now. What struggles throughout your career did you face and how did you overcome it? Yeah, great question.
Very good question. Beautiful. So what I would like to tell you is this, It's never easy. It's never easy for us. Life is not a bed of roses, and things can be. It's a roller coaster, I would say. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not, and so we the attitude is everything. Even if the going is tough, you have to keep your head held high and keep moving forward. Politically, it's been a challenge for me. And when people look at me, I don't look like a politician, a regular, normal politician of America. And I don't think so there is any prejudice, but they just look at me as a little bit of an anomaly with my accent, with my geekiness that comes from the world of tech. And so it's not like a red carpet was laid out to me when I ran for city council. The first time I ran, I barely escaped with 71 votes. That was my margin of victory. And the only reason we won, because we learned to hustle. As an immigrant, that's all we know. We hustle really. We are working hard. We are putting time, energy into it. And that's the reason why we won. Just barely won. But 4 years later, we ended up winning with the greatest number of votes in city history because people started trusting in me. They said, look, Rishi is on the right side of stuff. He's able to fix these types of problems for us. And this is the type of political leadership we want. For 50 years, I've lived here in Saratoga. I haven't seen a council member like Rishi Kumar because he is truly getting things done for us, right? So things might be difficult, but as long as we stay true on purpose, we work hard, we'll figure out a way. And the most important thing is, have a little bit of a happy-go-lucky attitude with life. No matter how bad things are, get a good laugh over it because, it'll be gone. It'll be gone in a nanosecond, in a day, in a week. It'll be gone and things will be normal again, right? So have a good laugh and enjoy these moments. That's all I would say.
Yeah, great question. So anyone else? Yeah, I really agree with your last statement. Like it's all about balance. So especially, among high schoolers, that could be tough, but yeah, great advice.
And Ritika, that's a question from, you're very young, but you have a very matured standpoint of how you ask this. So kudos to you for such an introspective question. Nicely done. Okay.
Any other questions? Vani, you could put your question in the public chat.
Somebody's typing, looks like. Okay, while we wait for the question, I think I'm quite impressed with each of you, and it's a good club, and this club will create lots of opportunities for all of you, and hopefully you will recruit a few more on your club, and some of the insights are offered. Hopefully it's of help. And Elora, please, let's meet up again sometime in fall, like September, October. I would love to do a take 2 and talk to all of you again. And in the meantime, I invite each of you to apply to the internship program. And the URL is rishikumar.com/fellowship. You will get volunteer hours. I write good recommendation letters to college, and we ensure the success of each of you. I will put the URL in the chat window. And we have quite a few students from Fremont, and they all carpool and they sort of collaborate, they meet up, they have formed a very, very good bond. And it's a high energy group. We are very happy with this bunch from Fremont. So take a look at that. It's this program is not for everybody, but if you like it, talk to your parents and apply for applications. We invite you for an interview, and then hopefully things go well, and then you're onboarded, trained. You go through the 21-point training program, and then you're ready for the summer. Okay, what is the biggest risk you have taken? And that's from Wani. Good question. I like it. In your career so far. And I think the biggest risk I took was to challenge an incumbent who had been entrenched in office for 28 years when I announced my run for Congress. And it was a huge leap of faith, because coming from city council, which is a population of 30,000 to a district of 760,000. And I had no idea, what it involved, because I've never had any godfather who would coach me and tell me. That was a huge risk we took to jump into a political office. And it wasn't very easy because people were very unhappy with me for challenging an incumbent who had been in office for such a long time. Everybody is very establishment driven, but there were some real good reasons why we were challenging her, because she's the #1 recipient of pharma money in US Congress and has passed legislation to increase the price of healthcare and does not support Medicare for all. There were some good reasons why we challenged her. And that was a huge risk. But, I've learned tremendously. Whenever you take a risk, when you try out a different career option, you could say that jumping out of IBM was a huge career risk for me because I was quite doing well there, 14, 15 years in IBM, and I decided to join Cisco. So you have to try different opportunities. We cannot be shy. This world is not for the faint-hearted. Be bold like a tiger, and that's the training that we provide. We integrate that cultural experience with our interns to make sure that they will operate fearlessly. Okay, good question, Hanya. So why did you switch from Sharada? Why did you switch from mechanical engineering to politics? So I haven't switched yet. I switched from mechanical engineering to software. And, I found it a little bit more exciting than the mechanical engineering industry. The car companies had existed for hundreds of years, and the software companies were still very young and opportunity for innovation. That's why I switched over from applying the mechanical engineering skills to developing my software skills. And the change wasn't very smooth because you have to put in, when you change careers like that, or even when you jump into politics, I have to work a lot more harder. Like you look at my city council back in 2014, I would literally work 50, 60 hours on my tech job. And then I would work another 40, 50 hours in my political role as a delegate, as an executive board member of the California Democratic Party, as the council member, and running a nonprofit, running all these STEM programs. And my wife tells me that after we entered the world of politics, we have never had an spare time. Our weekends are gone. We are constantly busy. They invite me to public functions. They are having me recognize people on stage. And it's just a different ball game. And that's an outcome of the risk we ended up taking by jumping into the world of politics. My tech career is still there as a parallel path, but the plan is to become a full-time politician by winning this race next year. Great question, Sharada. Okay, let's Fahia. I came in late. What inspired you in your home country that made you want to move to US and pursue politics? I just love the American culture, and Americans are very prosperous, and things are really good here. In fact, this is the reason why we moved here, and it seemed like the right thing to do then. And I am looking back at the last few years in this country, and it's been a tremendous ride. So I wouldn't do anything differently. Good question, Faya. And want to move to US and pursue politics. Why did I pursue politics? Let me answer that part of it. It is very simple because what I felt was we were very effective as an activist in addressing the types of challenges. That the thinking, our mindset is a lot different, and we are able to get things done. And I felt that the running for city council was just about that. There are challenges I see in my city, maybe I can fix them. Running for Congress is exactly like that. There are problems I see in Silicon Valley with homelessness, with housing, traffic issues, with California fires. We need a water infrastructure plan. The exodus is going on, and nothing is really getting done. And someone like me, who thrives on that getting things done platform, believe we can accomplish a lot more. And that's why we jumped into politics. It's all about giving back, making it better for the neighborhood, making it better for our community. And I always believe this: when you take the elevator up, you have to send it down and help people out. And I feel that politics is a great opportunity for me to continue helping people. Many of my friends who are like very accomplished CEOs of the Valley, they sometimes tell me, Rishi, why are you wasting time with this politics stuff? There's no money there. Why are you doing this? And I look them in the eye, I tell them, look, I'm much happier of a person because I'm building good karma. I feel very happy out there trying to help people. Great question, Faya. All right. Any other questions? I see no more questions on the chat window.
Yeah, I think that's pretty